Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we're going to be working on this MST drift car. Got it from a friend of mine, and looks like I'm going to be doing a little bit of drifting fun, so you might see some RC drift car action on the channel. As you can see, it's got a little bit of wear on it, which will be fine, but it's all in all, everything here is still factory. As you can see, we got a brand new GTR body to slap on this thing. Got a spoiler. I still have to assemble that whole thing. I'm gonna have to order a light kit for it, but it comes with all the attachments to do so. So we'll be working on that later. First thing I want to do is add the magnetic body kit. As you can see, we've got the magnetic body kit adapter set, which I just opened up so I could lay it all out and take a look. Looks like it's pretty straightforward. First thing we want to do is take an Allen key that'll fit these bolts, pull out that screw and this screw. For the front ones there, what you're going to want to do is flip it upside down and just take out the two screws right here. Go ahead, take out that one and that one. What I did is I slid these out through the bottom for now. I'm just going to put this back on here. If you want, you can slightly thread those back in. But what we're basically going to be doing is just sandwiching this in there, getting the body fitted up, and then we'll work out the magnets, and then later on, if you want to, you can just cut this just below the foam line, and so that way this still holds onto the foam later on. So we will retain these. It's just, I want to get the magnets all done first. Once you know your magnet system's going to work, then you can pack this up. Tell them what to do next? No? Okay. Well, grab the body, put it over top. Look at that. Now we need to distinguish how far everything's going to have to sit. The easiest to start with is doing the rears. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to build the rear setup, and then we'll move to the front. We want to keep it nice and close, just off the tires, right? That way it still stays nice and slammed, and we want to make sure it stays centered. Open these up, put all your new little screws right here, and what we're going to want to do is take a couple of these threaded shafts and add them in right here by putting a screw through. Make sure you use the new screws, and these ones don't have to have the beveled heads, just the round ones. You just put it right through here, tie it in here. You can even screw this into the screw. Go ahead, tighten these bad boys up as much as you can. If you want, since it is metal on metal, you could use a little bit of liquid Loctite. And then we'll take these dudes right here, and you could put them to the outer or the inner. I'm going to choose to go inside with them. Just go like this, and then we're going to need some set screws in here. Let's see, what ones do we have more of? Probably these little guys right here. All right, take the little guy right there, stick it in there. We just want to try and level these guys out a little bit. But don't go too tight with these yet, because we still want them to slide just a little bit when we're doing our next adjustment. So as you can see, that one sits like that. And then again, this one right here, make sure you do it so the outside, so just like this. Perfect. And we'll try to line it up just a little bit. Go ahead, grab another one of those really tiny ones. These ones, perfect. As again, it's a smaller screw than the rest. And we're just going to tighten that in here. Again, not much resistance yet. Go ahead, like I showed, just make sure those are kind of snug. Take these guys, just put these in and snug them up just a little bit. Once you've gone ahead and tightened these up, just make sure that they're just sitting just like that. Now we need to screw one of these plates on. The little ears go on each side just like this. It'll straighten these up. So grab two of the longer screws that are not, again, the beveled heads. And then go ahead and screw them in. You might have to actually do these ones from this side, yeah. So, go ahead and just tie them in. One in this side, one in this side. Two screws up a little bit, especially on this one. I tightened this one up so it's a flat shelf. Make sure it's a little bit level. Now we can raise it by doing this, and we can pull it out. I pulled it out so it's pretty much flush and in line in the back. So that way I know it's sitting right on the trunk section of my car. I'm just gonna lift this and put it on here. My wheel gap is way too much right now. So I'm gonna just slowly sink this down a little bit. Wow, that was a little bit too much. Probably because I need to tighten that. Yeah, still a little bit down. Or maybe down. Up on this side, down on the other. Let's see. There. Let's try that. This stuff we can fine tune after. We just need to make sure we see where it's sitting. And yeah, it's sitting right here on the trunk lid, just like we want. And I see that I've almost got the gap that I want on each side. I just need maybe a little bit more on this side. There. Now that's a little better. Maybe a little more. Either way, look at that. You can see my rim gap over there is on a good section now. I need this side to come down just a little bit more. There we go. Ta-da, just like that. Now, it's gonna have to go down a little bit more after we add these pieces. So the next thing you need to do is open your magnets. After you open your magnets, you are going to see some of them have beveled holes in them, like this. And if you can imagine, you have those little beveled screws that are designed just for that. So take those beveled screws, put them through the center, or well, I guess you could just slap it in there, and then put it down. Now, I would caution on going too strong with this. You do not want to start going nuts with these magnets and over tightening them down, because if you do, you can crack the magnet. I think in this case you might strip the aluminum first, but the last thing you want to do is crack the magnet. So just careful with it when you're tightening it down, and I would put Loctite on it if you are worried about it backing out. And there we go. If you want, you can slap a couple of these guys on there. Those are the flat magnets. We're gonna glue those ones really well onto the body. But that just sits like that, and your body sits on top. So if you can imagine that was glued to the other side, as soon as you drop this on, it would stick to it. And as you can see, all the fitment gaps have all changed because we've got to account for those magnets, which brings it down a little lower. And again, we haven't even finished the front yet, so we're gonna still have to balance this out. I'm also gonna tighten up this one side because it's really easy to move, so it makes it almost impossible to adjust anything. There we go. Now it's a little harder to adjust. Perfect. Take a look and see. Nice. We're getting to a good wheel gap there. Now that we got the back figured out, let's start working on the front. Time for the front. Slide those back to the foam. back onto here. We're ready to reuse it. Go into here, take 2 of the screws and put them back in. And after you put 2 screws back in here, put the 2 screws back in the post down there, because we're gonna have to cut these posts now to length. And what I would suggest doing is we err on the side of caution, meaning we chop them, yes, but after we chop them, we make sure we don't chop them too far down because of how we have to adjust it. Slip the body on, and look at how high those posts are sitting. As you can see, we have quite a bit of wheel gap there. So, grab yourself a nice solid pair of cutters of some sort, and we're gonna trim these shafts, and we're gonna trim them. I'd probably start with 4 holes down, and then from there, we'll see where it sits, and then we'll go 5 holes, 6 holes, until it's just too low, because once it's just too low, then we can add our adapters. So the first one I did was at the 4 hole mark. I just go right with my lineman pliers and right there. Perfect. I already did that to both. We'll put the body back on. I still see that I want to go way lower. So, I'm going to go another 3 holes, because even if I go 3 holes down, I know that that's way more than enough for those guides that I gotta put on. Perfect, we're almost there. That's starting to look really good. We're basically sitting right on the tires. So what we have to do now is take this little adapter here. You see one end is bigger than the other. And it just goes in just like that. And see, just like those little pegs that were up front, there's a screw piece here which will screw, just so you can visualize. This goes in between here. And then we adjust, again, the plate height for our magnets. And then we'll tie our magnets onto here, slide it down, attach magnets, and then like I said, we'll glue the magnets onto the body. When we're putting these pieces on, you just gotta make sure that we line up the small end over here. So you see there's that massive end and the small end. The small end is for the screw to pass through. So you just line it up like so. Grab your Allen key. Slide it onto the end. It pushes right through that hole. Again, not the massive hole, but the skinny hole. Go ahead, tighten it up, throw some Loctite on it if you want. All right, tighten it up. There we go. Take your smallest Allen key, slip it into the little stud screw, and it's a stud screw because it's going to go in here, which is going to screw into the posts. So just pre-thread these in. Don't worry about them too much. And again, a little bit of Loctite if you'd like. Now that we've pre-threaded those in, make sure the screws aren't protruding. We bring our car into the picture. We literally just slide this right onto the posts like that. Now go ahead and put your magnets on here, just like we did with the back. So taking a look, we've got the magnets kind of just sitting there. Drop the body on, and just kind of slide her into the center, and just take a look at how it's sitting on there. This will be the fun part. You get to attach the magnets. See how centered it is? the fun part is lining this up where you're happy with how centered it's sitting. So the best way you could actually probably do this is two ways. You could either make it so it leaves a mark on the inside of the body when you glue them on, or you can also do another trick, which is use double-sided sticky tape. So then you would line it, squish it so the double-sided sticky tape holds it, and then what you'll do after it's stuck there, you can trace it, take the double-sided sticky tape off, and then hot glue them on. Just make sure you don't melt your body. But you can hot glue it on or use some hobby glue. Just make sure you're careful with what glue you use because you don't want to melt the body. Me, I'm just going to use a hot glue gun. So, let's show you what I did. If we're taking a look here, I first threw some hot glue down on the front ones. After I threw some hot glue up in the front, I squished those ones on first, because once you get those ones right first, and you can slap that on, it makes getting the back in there easier. Also, the front's everything with drift cars, right? You gotta make sure those wheels are clearing. After we knew that the wheels were clearing, as you can see, I have a bit of a gap going on right now. But that's also because, yeah, I'm still adjusting it. Back's pretty well dialed in. But like I said, you just gotta center the fronts first, then go off your rears. What I did is after I put the glue on there, sunk it down, I found that it wasn't a good enough hold. It really wasn't. So, first I traced it with a pen, pulled it off, pulled the old glue off, put new glue, and again, I just used the glue gun. If you wanted to, you could just use whatever. And then stuck it on there. And now, she's good. All I literally did is I put it down afterwards and just made sure steering was good and did some drive-bys. And that's it. Either way, I hope that helps you get the magnet body kit on. Just be careful of the glues that you use. Once again, that's why I used the hot glue gun. And if you're using other glues, just make sure it's not going to melt Lexan, because if it does, or if your paint's fresh, it'll take the paint off. So just careful with that. Hope this helped you out. Thanks again for watching. Press a like if it did. Subscribe for more. Who knows what I'm going to show on this thing next. Probably putting the spoiler on and the little mirrors and stuff. I got to paint those first, because they don't come chrome, they come gray. Got them here somewhere. Yeah, they're right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chrome these guys up with some chrome paint, and then I'll slap them in and we'll go from there.